So for this video, we're doing the time-lapse assignment, right? So I'm gonna go into the instructional materials, week 19. It might be in a different folder for other students. Make sure you look through the week 19 or the week 18, but we're looking for the day 38 folder, right? And here it is, the time-lapse assignment. Okay, you're gonna submit this as a screenshot showing your ruler in inches and showing your layers window as well, right? I also added the Google Slides in here. I had a breakdown as well. All we're doing is creating a layout, right? Using the +1 + 3 +1 + 3 sequence, right? And then we're gonna be inserting our images, right? This is gonna be a specific type of assignment where we need specific types of images, right? Where we need to use a sequence or a cycle of things that are happening with timestamps, right? So at the beginning, in the middle, and towards the end of the same object, okay? Once we create our layout and we look for our images, I'm going to show you guys how to look for that, for the images, the specific images I'm asking for. We're going to be creating masks, right? Right, so this is the menu options, this is the button right here in the layers window, and this is what it's supposed to look like when we finish, right? So this is the sequence of events, right? The whole burger, it's being eaten slowly, and then at the end, right? So you guys are going to have something very similar to this, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and open the Photopea link. Make sure you guys take notice that the first thing is to create a custom page, right? So 21 inches by 5 inches. So I'm gonna go ahead and click on the Photopea link, right? I'm gonna go ahead and open a new file. I'm gonna create a new file. So I'm gonna go to File and New, right? I'm gonna change this to inches, and the numbers were 21, right? Add 21 in there, and 5. Right? This is what it should look like. And it's going to give us like a banner looking. It's very long, right? From side to side, it's long. Okay? You don't have to go anywhere down here. You just put in your numbers, right? Make sure it's 21 and 5, and then it's in the inches format, and then you're going to click on Create, right? So it's going to give us a very long page, right? So the first thing to do is to create a layout, right? We're creating a layout using the 1-inch margin space and the 3-inch box space, right? So once we're done, it should look like this. Right? So to add the guides, right? I'm gonna go to View and Add Guides right here, right? I'm gonna start with the horizontal guides, right? This is the one that's gonna have the most. Okay, so +1 + 3, +1 + 3, right? So we're starting off at 0, and the first one is +1, right? So I'm gonna add 1. Okay. The next one is gonna be +3, right? So I'm gonna take that first number 1. And then we're going to add +3 to it, right? So which is 4. And you're going to continue, right? +1 + 3, +1 + 3, right? Until you get to 21, right? That's the edge of the page over here, okay? For the vertical ones, right? You're going to just do +1 + 3 one time, right? So you're going to do the exact same thing, right? +1 + 3. Oops. Right? You're only going to need 2 numbers for the vertical one. For the horizontal one, you're going to need more, right? You're going to need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 numbers for that one, for the horizontal one. Okay? Once you've finished creating your layout, right, it should look something like this. I'm just doing a mock one really quickly, right? Just adding, right, some guesstimates, right? But yours should be more exact than mine. Right? So let's get started. Once you have created your layout, right, it should look something like this. I'm going to go into Google, right? I'm going to look up Eaton stages, right? You guys can look up, if you guys go into the slides, I have more examples in there, right? We're going to go into, I put Eaton stages, right? Here it is. Okay, so right here it has a lot of sequences, right? Right, so they have apples from beginning to end, bananas, cupcakes, donuts, right? And if I keep going, popsicles, right? You guys are gonna choose one of these, right? Where they have sequence of from beginning to end, right? The picture that I use is gonna be the hamburger one, right? And whatever picture you choose, you have to make sure there's at least 5 stages because we have 5 boxes to fill. Okay, so for example, let me go up here again. This cupcake one only has 4 stages, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. So this one's not gonna work, right? This one with the fruit pastry, this one is gonna work. It has 6 stages, right? If it has more than 5 stages, just choose whichever ones you guys want in the middle, right? There should be a beginning one, there should be an end, right? But the middle ones, you guys can just randomly choose which one you guys like the best, right? And so there should be 5 stages in your picture, okay? I'm gonna use this hamburger picture right here. Don't use this picture, right? Use other pictures. Like I said, in the slides, I also have lots of other examples that you guys can choose from, right? You guys can choose from moon phases, human evolution, right? There are different things you guys can choose from that have a beginning to an end, right? So I'm gonna use this picture, right? I'm going to save it, right? If I try to drag this over to Photopea, it doesn't open, right? Unknown file. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna save it instead, right? So I'm gonna right click this image. I'm gonna click on Save Image As, right? And I'm just gonna save it. I'm gonna call it burger, right? And my downloads and as a JPEG, right? Save, that's fine. Okay, I'm gonna open my picture. If you guys can click and drag over to Photopea, that's perfect, right? Sometimes taking a screenshot or saving it directly to your computer helps out so you guys can use that exact picture, right? So I'm gonna go to File and I'm gonna click on Open in Place, right? Because if I click on Open, it's gonna open as a separate file, but I wanted to Photopea to insert it right here into where I'm working, right? So Open in Place right here where I'm working. I'm gonna click on the burger JPEG that I downloaded right now, right? And here it is. Okay. So the first thing is I'm gonna put in that first stage in this first box, right? So I'm gonna make it a little bigger. Okay, I wanna fill up the box as much as I can. Right, somewhere around there. That looks pretty good, right? So using the guide, right? I'm using the guide as a marker of where it's going to cut it, right? Where it's going to add that mask, right? I'm gonna go into the move tool, right? And just like we've done before with the masking assignments, I'm going to make a selection. So I'm gonna go into the rectangle select tool, right? I'm gonna click right here. And I'm going to apply my selection on top of the guides, right? It should be right on top of the guides. I'm gonna let go, right? And as you can see, I have my selection. It is done, right? It's right here, okay? There it is. You have to make sure you have your selection done first, right? Before we create the mask. If not, this is not gonna work, okay? So once I've made my selection, I can go either through the menu options or right here down here to where the layers window is, where they have this box with the circle in the center. It's gonna do the exact same thing, but I'm gonna go ahead and do the menu option first. I'm gonna go to layer. I'm gonna click on raster mask and I'm gonna click on reveal selection, right? You have to make sure you have your selection first before you click here. If it's not gonna highlight it, it's not gonna let you choose it, right? I'm gonna click on reveal selection and there it is, right? To finish this sequence, right, the easiest way to create or finish this assignment is to simply duplicate the last layer, right? So I'm right here in my burger layer, right? I'm going to duplicate this. So I'm gonna go to layer and I'm gonna click on duplicate layer, right? So I clicked on layer, clicked on duplicate layer. You can also press Command J or Control J and it'll do the exact same thing. So I'm gonna click on duplicate layer and it's gonna make a burger copy a layer, right? So I have this original one and I have my copy up here, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to unlink my mask, right? Actually, I have transferred over. So I'm gonna go over to the move tool, right? Going to the move tool and you are bringing over that copy over into the second square, right? Because I don't have my guides done correctly, right? It's not letting me put it exactly where I want to. It should let you put your image right exactly where you need it to be, right? And it should fill in the square perfectly, right? There should be no gap like how I have it right here, right? right? So I moved my copy over to the next square, right? Once you've moved your image to the second one, right? I'm going to unlink the mask, right? How do I do that? I'm gonna go over here to the layers window, right? I'm gonna go into the burger copy layer and I'm going to unlink where you see this chain. I'm gonna click, right? And it disappears, right? It also says it appear unlink raster mask, right? Right? So I unlinked it. I can relink it, right? Bring it back, make it disappear, bring it back, right? Make sure you're always in this layer, right? It does let you switch between the image and the mask. Make sure you're in here in the image layer, in the image portion of your layer, so that you can do this correctly, right? If you're over here where the mask is, it's not gonna let you complete this correctly. So make sure you're always in this one, right? Just click on it just in case, just to be sure, right? So I'm going to unlink it, right? I'm in the correct spot. I'm right here where the image is, and I'm simply going to use my move tool to move the image to the next stage, right? So all I'm doing is clicking and dragging to where the next stage is, right? So you guys don't have to do this all over again, right? You're simply using the same image. You're just moving your information around, right? Right, so this is the next stage. And I'm done with the second square, right? So I'm gonna do this all over again, right? I'm gonna go through it a little quicker so you guys can see how this goes, right? So once I have finished my second square, I'm going to duplicate again. I'm gonna go layer, duplicate layer. I'm gonna move it, oops, sorry. I have to relink it, right? Remember to always relink your layer because then that happens, right? To relink it, you just simply click on that space between your image and the mask, right? And it'll relink, this chain will reappear, right? So you have to make sure that it is linked before you move it, right? So I'm gonna move my image to the third square, right? I'm going to unlink. I'm going to move it to the third stage, which is down here, right? Okay. And I'm going to relink it, right? Make sure you relink it because if not, it's gonna give you problems, okay? Okay, so layer, duplicate, right? Move to the fourth square, unlink, right? Move it to this side. If a little bit of the other pictures come out, that's okay. And relink, right? Make sure that you guys unlink and relink correctly, okay? If it's not letting you do it this way, just make sure that you're in the correct part of your layer, right? Make sure you're not in the mask part, okay? If you're in the mask portion, it's gonna do this, right? And this is, we don't want this. We don't want that part of the image moving around, right? So you have to make sure you're in the correct part, in the image part, okay? Once you finish, you're gonna take a screenshot, make sure I can see your rulers in the inches format, and make sure I can see your layers windows, okay? And then submit it, and that's all.